Whoa! Need to put the support jacks in on the bumper. Welcome back to the Flat Thunder channel. My name's Andy. We got my jib out here on the old channel icon truck, the flatbed, aka Flat Thunder. Today, we're gonna work on the big green parts machine. We gotta get the parts off of it that we want to keep, and we gotta start dismantling the rest of the truck. We're gonna use the flatbed here with the old jib crane to try to help us out with that. Stay tuned, I'll show you what we're gonna get into. Before we get too carried away, taking the axles off of this, we want to get these wheels and tires loose from the axle. I have a strange suspicion these things are probably borderline welded on here. So we're going to use the old impact that we got from Grandpa's garage. See if we can't buzz these things off of there. Oh yeah, she's nice and loose. We got the wheels loose. Looks like they'll come right off of this axle, no problem. So we just left one lug nut on each side. Then we're going to continue with the disassembly process. The other side was very much the same. It's free and all the lug nuts are off. We're going to cut this guy off of this bed, and this is going to be the future replacement housings for the flatbed. These have the newer style bulbs in them. 3157s, I believe. I prefer the original 1157s, which have the round bulb base, but I might keep this loom around just for emergencies. Oopsie. I broke one of the bulbs getting it out of there. I forget why I enjoy working on all these old trucks. I just ate a ton of rust, and all I did was unhook this wiring harness for the taillights. Now we're ready to cut out the housings for the old truck. I think I ate more rust than I've had in the entire last year. Just getting this out. Blech. Well, this is the passenger side, the second side. You're able to get it out, no problem. Obviously cut it a little bit larger than what we need, but you get the idea. We need this area here where the taillight bolts in for the flatbed. And we'll chop off the excess as we fit it to the truck. I'm going to try to unbolt the filler necks from the bedside. If we can't get them unbolted, we'll just cut around them. There's one more to go. All right, both of them came loose. Big long gas tank, but before we take that out, we got the drive shaft behind it. And I know people are going to say, what are you doing? But this drive shaft is the wrong wheelbase for anything that I own, and I'm not going to take the time to sell it to buy the right one. So we're just going to expedite this. I'm going to lop it off there and lop it off up of the transmission and leave the slip yoke in the transmission housing so it doesn't leak transmission fluid everywhere, because I'll never use this the way it is. I'd have to shorten it. gas tank's next on the agenda. I'm gonna get the jack over here, switch out to the short blade, and we'll lop these straps off, drop this tank down. This rusty tank is down on the ground, or at least on the deck of the trailer. Had to lop the filler neck hose off again. It was hanging up on a cross member, and it's just too rigid. There's no flex in it at all. So now we're left with the electrical connection and then the fuel line connections, which all right. I'm a little tired of this. Ta-da! There's the front fuel tank. We got it off. Obviously we pinched the lines and just broke the lines, and then ended up cutting the wiring. The wiring on this fuel sending unit, for some reason, it doesn't look like it's a plug model. Maybe it has a pigtail and a plug up yonder, but I don't know. I always thought there was a plug right on top of the fuel sending unit, but apparently not on this one. We're never gonna use this. This is all gonna get thrown away and scrapped, but still got some fuel in it, so that'll make some decent lawnmower gas. One down, one more to go. It's got 2 tanks, front and back, 2. Okay, we have a problem here. Some dummy caught the edge of the gas tank when he's trying to cut the straps, and now we're draining the fuel tank. That's dangerous. So we're gonna wish we wouldn't have done that, but here we are. So we're gonna have to catch all the fuel that comes out of there, wait till it stops dripping, and then continue trying to take this out. Blah. So we're here at the big mean green parts machine. I'm going to take time to show you why this is a common occurrence on pickup trucks. I think it's a common occurrence on all pickup trucks, but in Ford especially, this area right here tends to get the cancer and rust out before the rest of the truck. So I'm going to take time to dissect this thing and show you why this is the area that usually rusts first. Stay tuned, I'll show you. Right now you're probably asking, Andy, why the heck would you do this? This bed is completely shot. Its new home is going to be in the scrapyard. It's going to get shredded up. There's nothing really left of this bed. It's scrap. But what I wanted to do is show you why they typically rust in this area. There's an inner shell. This is what you see when you look inside the bed. There's the outer skin, which is this guy right here, which makes the bedside. The outer skin is completely separate from the inner skin, except over the fender wells, and then there's a brace back here that ties it in. Over the fender wells, you have this piece of sheet metal here. This piece of sheet metal is open on the ends to allow the water and moisture and stuff that gets up in there to drain. What will happen is all that moisture and dirt and debris will collect in there. It will hold moisture, it'll hold salt, and it will hold it against the bedside on the inside here, and it will make your bedside start to rust from the inside out. Okay, this is your bedside looking from the inside out. You can see, even though the outside was only rusted through in this bottom section here, right here, just above the trim rings that went around the wheels, it's rusted way up here. And that's because where it would hold all that dirt, debris, salt, and moisture against the inside skin. The key, if you want to make your truck last longer in the rust belt, or anywhere where corrosion is a problem, you want to keep this area clean right on top of here, in between your inner bedside and your outer skin. You want to keep this area clean as possible. So in the winter time and throughout the year, if you get your truck dirty, take the pressure washer, reach up underneath the fender above this flap, get the nozzle in here and blow this out, and then do the same thing on the front side until you see water flowing out the back when you're blowing from the front, and out the front when you're blowing from the back. You want to keep this area right here as clean as possible. And then also you want to apply some anti-corrosive treatment in this area. You could use I use just straight used motor oil to apply in this area, but you can use stuff like fluid film. There's other makers of anti-corrosive material, but you want to keep this area clean. No matter what you put in there, you want to keep it clean. That's the most important part to making your truck last. So that's just a little bonus to this truck disassembly. All right, let's continue the mass destruction. We got to get this axle out of there. We got to get this bedside off because it's a safety hazard, and keep on ripping and tearing. I hope that little explanation of why trucks usually rust out above the fender wells was helpful to you in your classic truck, and or helpful in your new truck today. Newer trucks now are manufactured with aluminum bedsides. Now, I don't know exactly how they're manufactured, but I have to think the oxidation will happen in the same fashion, where it'll start rusting out above the fender wells if it's built in this manner. It may not be rust, but it'll still be oxidation. So you're going to want to keep this area clean, whether you have an aluminum body, or even worse, or more importantly, if you have a steel body. Keep this area clean. Use your pressure washer wand, reach up underneath, blow this area out from both sides on the front and rear of the tire. Now I think we're ready to get this axle out from underneath here. The leaf springs are no good, the shackles are shot, the hangers are no good. So we're just going to take the axle out and leave the rest of it for the scrapyard. Do this by cutting those U-bolts with a Sawzall. You got 2 U-bolts per side holding the leaf springs up. You want to be careful because they're going to be loaded with spring pressure, and you also want to make sure the truck is supported before doing this, and watch for a pop and flying debris. They'll probably cut them 3/4 of the way through or 7/8 of the way through, and then they'll break the rest of the way. Oh boy, those must be hard, or my Sawzall blade is just whooped, or both. Good thing the gas tank's gone. We're gonna have to get the hot saw and say hello to my little friend, the hot saw. Don't forget your safety goggles and shield. This is gonna get messy. Yeehaw! Not gonna lie, that scared me. This right here is why it's important to block the truck. We have it blocked up there, and we have it blocked back there. So what's left of the frame can't go anywhere. Look at this leaf spring. This kicked way out here because it's broken. Whew, scary. Picture this. You're thinking about getting an old rusty truck. price is right, in this case freebie, and then you decide to start working on it. Well, let it rain, let it rain. Let it rain the rust down on you. Look at all this. So you can put safety goggles on, but you can't really protect the rest of your face unless you put a full face shield on. And when you do that, it gets in your ears. So I just used the old electric impact, which worked great. I had to pound it on the shock bolts for the shocks at the top. I had to disconnect the shocks, and it was just raining. It was just a massive rainstorm. All this stuff here is just all rust that was falling off while we're taking off these shock bolts. Fun times. Lop off these sway bar links and the emergency brake cables. Then I think we're ready to get this rear axle out of here. The rear differential is finally free from the truck, and we're getting her lassoed up to the jib crane on the old flatbed. Time to lift this thing out of here. It's about time, that's for sure. I think I ate probably about 50 pounds of rust trying to get this thing out of there. If you like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Leave all those questions and comments in the section below, and I'll try my best to answer them. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. We got a couple more videos coming out on this truck before she disappears to the scrap pile. Thanks again, everyone.